The first lesson is a lesson in humility, that the human race, despite all the advances that it has made, despite all the knowledge that it has accumulated, despite all the researches that was done in the past century and in the 21st century, still a small entity like a virus was able to escape this research, to escape the medical attention to a great extent, and to go from one country to another, from one place to another, and to cripple the whole earth, to cripple the whole humanity, and to wreak havoc on the economies of many countries, and to bring panic to every home, to every place on this earth. But as Muslims, we need to deal with this in a different way, in a more reasonable way, in a way that people who are connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will deal with. The first lesson, as I said, is a lesson to all of us in humility and to be humble, to understand what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, وَمَا أُوتِيتُم مِّنَ الْعِلْمِ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. The knowledge that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave to the human race is just a little compared to the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we realize this when we look at ourselves as a human being and compare the earth to the solar system, compare the earth to the millions and the billions of stars around us. Then we realize that as a human being living on this earth, we are just a speck of dust in the whole universe. And as such, we need to be humble, we need to be compassionate, we need to understand our arrogance and to stay away from it, to shed it away, especially in the time of crisis like this. Another lesson from the crisis is that we as a human being live under the protection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are engulfed with the protection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in every aspect of this life. We are encountering now the COVID-19 virus, but this is just one virus of many that we live with. This is one germ of many that we are in touch with. And as such, when we reflect about this also, we realize that we live under the protection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we are just, in many instances, one step away from a disease, one step away from a disaster, one step away from losing a dear brother, a dear spouse. This is all the gift of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the protection from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is all go under Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when He created the human race. He decreed that the earth is their trust, that all the resources of the earth are under their disposal to utilize it in the best way and to deal with it with the best way. So we are a privilege in this sense, and we should not use this privilege in a negative way. We should use it in a very positive way. Using it in a very positive way in the time of crisis means to show compassion. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was very compassionate with the human race, we need to show this compassion with those who are sick, with those who are suffering, and not to stigmatize them. And to the contrary, we should reach out to them, we should help them, and we should do our best to alleviate their suffering. This is the attitude that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught us in the Quran when He told us as a human race, not as Muslims, not as believers, but as the human race. Ya ayyuhan nas, inna khalaqnakum min dhakarin wa untha, وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم. O mankind, we have created you from nations, and tribes, and we have made you to so you know each other, you cooperate with each other. And this virus have shown us that we means the human race, we live in one place called Earth, and we have to look after it. We have to look after each other and to take care of each other. And to do this, we rely on the protection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala before anything else. We resort to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the creator, the protector, to protect us from all the disease as He protected us during our lives. And if we encounter a problem, we realize also that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward us for any suffering, will reward us for any loss that we encounter during our life, as long as we remain connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and our faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will carry us through this. I pray to Allah to protect every human being on this earth and to make us all live in safety and happiness and tranquility. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.